Hello and welcome back to my outpost. I've done a bit of work on it since our last video. I've been laying out rails and joining everything together and trying to make the base self-sufficient. So the next step in making it self-sufficient was to make sure that all my trains were fueled. I think I've mentioned before, the plan is to run all the planes on rocket fuel because wood isn't really going to give me the kind of performance I want, particularly with longer trains. So to that end, I've developed the site which I'd earmarked for rocket fuel. There's some refining going on. I don't bother doing any cracking or anything clever like that. I just shove everything I can through a solid fuel making machine. I've done the usual thing of leaving gaps for modules and for beacons, and I'm not building to any kind of ratio here. I've just been adding on machines until I see red lights lighting up. So at the moment my light fuel is the thing which is bottlenecking everything else, but it's not really the end of the world because at the moment I'm building rocket fuel with all the rocket fuel makers at full speed. So if this ever becomes a problem, obviously I'll be a bit more careful about ratios and doing things sensibly. So this is our rocket fuel providing train. The idea is that it just goes round each of the little places that potentially need rocket fuel, delivers it, and then the local logistics network at the site it's gone to takes care of feeding that to any trains which are currently parked in stations there. The rail network at this end of the site is a bit of a mess. You can probably see from the mini-map there's a loop that goes down to the shop area. That's a bit sad. At some point I'll sort all this out, but I'm still at the getting things working stage. So these stops are set up to wait for some inactivity. I think it's set to 20 seconds. And you can see we're having to do a loop-the-loop around the shop again to get out. So never mind, there's our rocket train. Up we go. This should give you some kind of an idea of the scale of the smelting we're doing. So up here onto the smelting site, and the dreaded autosave. The map is quite large, so the autosaving takes a little while now. I should really have disabled it for the video, but I did disable it earlier for the video, forgot to re-enable it, and then the computer crashed and I lost a couple of hours of work, so that was sad. Right, here we are. So this is the iron smelting area. It's set up with a station for 8 carriages here, 8 carriages here, and 1 for 4 here. I may or may not add some extra 4 or even 2 carriage stops at this site. There's nothing much going on at the moment because the only place which is consuming iron is the shop. So this is more than able to keep up with the shop. If I just skip to the map view, so we're mining the depth we can with logistics, then that's getting smelted, and then that's going into the requesters for trains. So this ticks down to 20 seconds of inactivity, which seems like a really long time when you're recording. There we are. Okay. So then we go off to the next site, which is the copper smelting area. Lovely bit of desert there. And this has pretty much been done with the same layout, the same settings. So here it's providing some fuel. You can see the fuel's being picked up and delivered off to other train stations. So this is the same sort of setup. We've got our smelters and our miners. You might see some red cables let's do this here. Right, there are some red cables here. Because I'm copy pasting setups, all these guys are actually set up with a requester chest, which is deciding what to request based upon this constant combinator here. So this is set to 2.4K, which means each of the furnaces is requesting 2.4K. I've done pretty much the same thing here. So this is requesting plates, and it's set up with a combinator. Fair enough. So we're heading back now. We've delivered fuel. We can travel all the way back, and then because of this spaghetti we have to go round the shop again. And in here, and we can pick up some more rocket fuel. So this is really overkill at the moment for what I'm doing, but it will become less overkill once we have 20 or 30 stations and various trains which don't go to any central area. So let's take our lives in our hands and do a bit of driving, crossing over tracks. Try not to get run over. I really, really hate getting run over by trains. Off we go. Well, by anything really, but trains are sad, aren't they? So since you last saw the shop area, it's expanded out a bit. If we park up here, so I'm now training in iron plates and copper plates. We're still mining a bit here, but I'll probably get rid of that at some point. And there's just a load more machines. So what I've been doing is there's end products I want here, and then I've been building out all the fabs needed to keep those end products being made. So there's some red circuits being made here, green circuits, copper cables obviously, and then the things we really care about. So the various coloured chests, level 3 fabs, we've got our smelter there, poison pills, the various inserters, and in this case I really only care about the filter stack and stack filter, but you need some of the others to get things going. And long arm, I don't know if I'll ever use here, but it's just built 50 of them. Poles, bits of trains, and then I needed a stack of engine fabs to keep the train going. So what I've done here is wire these to the logistics network. They're set to 200. So although I have 6 fabs, collectively they won't make much more than 200 motors. So as we're pulling them off, making engines or other things later on like fluid pumps, we've got a bit of a buffer, but then we should be able to make lots of items because we've got lots of fabs making them without building up, chests and chests full of accidental production. And it's easier to do it through the logistics network than it is to cap each box, because as you add new fabs, you don't want to go around and have to change the cap on all the boxes. That's about it. So this site is nearing the point where I'm going to get rid of the smelting and the mining here. We're not quite there yet, particularly on steel, so perhaps the next outpost I'll build, which does any smelting, will be a steel smelting outpost. As you can see, I'm making green and red circuits on site here, which is kind of sad. I should really be training those in. Now that I have the copper and iron mining areas up and running, and my rail network is now something I can build with blueprints, I will next make a green circuit outpost. I know I keep saying this, but it's actually going to happen now. Thanks very much for watching my tour. Hopefully there'll be even more exciting stuff to see next time. Bye-bye.